This is absolutely fascinating and infuriating, and I want to be super careful here to ensure that I'm not violating any guidelines on any of our platforms. We finally found one example of what the right has been calling dead people voting. And of course, it wasn't a dead person. It was a live person doing something illegal. A pro-Trump Pennsylvania man has been charged with voter fraud for casting a ballot for Donald Trump under his dead mother's name. I'm going to get into the details in a moment. But remember, the voter fraud Trumpist crowd for 7 weeks now has been saying hundreds of thousands of dead people voted for Joe Biden in the 2020 election. In some cases, they say tens of thousands. When this was investigated, it turned out that it happened essentially not at all. Most of the people listed as dead in, I believe it was in Michigan, were just alive. I mean, that's really, they were people who did vote, but they're alive. They're not dead. Others were registered. They died since registering and they didn't vote. So in other words, they showed up as registered because they were, but they died and didn't vote because dead people can't vote. Some others were name confusion, a junior voting and then it being counted as their dad's vote, senior, who has passed away. But it was still only one vote counted. It wasn't it being counted twice for one person. It's a clerical error. And of course, the implication always was that this was part of a scam to help Joe Biden steal the election. Another claim they didn't have any evidence for, aside from the fact that it's really a bad strategy to steal an election. It's so much work for one vote in this way. But we finally found out that somebody did do this. And it is a 70-year-old man named Bruce Bartman in Pennsylvania who registered his dead mother and his dead mother-in-law to vote using the online registration portal, registered them both as Republicans, requested absentee ballots in their names, and returned one of the absentee ballots for his deceased mother voting for Trump. He's confessed. He made a statement to the DA's office saying he cast a vote for his in the name of his dead mother for Donald Trump. And there are many takeaways here. First of all, the claim from the Trumpists that this is widespread is a fantasy. Pennsylvania received hundreds of tips about supposed dead voters. They followed up on all of them and they found one and the guy voted for Trump. OK, number two, the story from the right is always that it's Democrats doing the voter fraud. And yet every time it's investigated, every election, it's a handful of Republicans doing it. There was a similar story back in 2016, maybe 2018, maybe both. There were scary generalizations about voter fraud, but when we found the few instances of people doing it earnestly, it was Republicans. We found instances of Republicans testing the system, trying to vote twice, and they got caught. And once again here, 70-year-old Republican caught submitting a ballot for Trump in the name of his dead mother. One other Republican in Pennsylvania was also charged for casting a ballot in person, went home, put on sunglasses, went back to the polling place and claimed to be his own son to vote a second time. He's also been caught and charged. So again, no evidence of materially relevant voter fraud. But these two guys accused of individual fraud, which of course would not have affected the Pennsylvania results either way. Joe Biden won by 71,000 votes. But the two instances were people voting for Trump anyway. So it only took 7 weeks, but we finally found one supposed dead voter, and it was a Trump vote anyway. So do not fall for this stuff, my friends. It really will rot your brain. We have real problems to deal with in this country. We have real election problems, and they include suppression, closing of polling places, disenfranchisement of different kinds. We have a long list. Quote, dead people voting, not a problem. One guy did it. He got caught in Pennsylvania. Remember that on January 1, we are blowing out memberships. Before Joe Biden comes into office and says, David, 70% membership discounts are no longer allowed. That's a joke, by the way. But we really are doing a one-day membership special, January 1st, 2021. If you would like to be notified about it, this is very simple. You go to davidpakman.com. Upper right of the website, you type in your email address, puts you on our newsletter. January 1st, you'll get an email telling you how to sign up, taking advantage of this great membership special. Let me know what you think about the voter fraud story from Pennsylvania. You can find me on Twitter @dpakman. If you are anything like me, You probably aren't thrilled with the idea of going into a doctor's office right now. And thankfully, there's a practical and affordable way to take control of your health and get personalized care from the comfort of your home. It's a service called SteadyMD. They're one of our sponsors. You take a quiz, you get matched with a licensed primary care physician who understands your health needs. You have a 1-hour video call with your new doctor. You establish a meaningful relationship with them. And after that, your doctor is available to you anytime by text, phone, or video chat. This is not a random doctor on call. Each doctor at SteadyMD has a limited number of patients, so they actually have time to listen to you. You get the personal attention that you deserve. They can do almost everything an in-person doctor can do: perform medical evaluations, talk to you about health concerns, send prescriptions to your home or local pharmacy, and anything they can't do online, they'll quickly set you up with an in-person provider to do, things like blood tests, as an example. You don't need insurance. It's only $99 a month with no other fees or copays. There are so many practical advantages to using SteadyMD for primary care, and it's also so much more affordable. Go to steadymd.com/Pakman to take the free quiz, see which doctor is right for you. I took their quiz. They matched me with a doctor who specializes in my particular health needs and situation. The doctor they gave me is a really perfect fit for me and my medical needs. There's no risk, no commitment to get started. Just click the link right underneath this video.